Hello and welcome to Nightly Scroll. I'm Hayley Caronia. Happy Friday to all my homies in the chat. You might be watching on Rumble, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. That's where you can watch Nightly Scroll live. But you might also be watching on X or on Facebook. You're only going to get a little snippet of the show. So come on over to Rumble. You can scroll with all my homies in the chat, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Of course, if you can't catch us live at 6, I get it. We're working. We have lives, 6 p.m. on a Friday. I know some people are busy. That's okay. You can watch whenever you want on Rumble. And of course, you can listen on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And wherever you listen, I just want to say thank you. And also tell a friend because it helps. All right, what do we have on the show tonight? Well, Megyn Kelly's under fire for comments she has made about Epstein victims, and allow me to add fuel to that fire. Also, liberal women apparently are fighting over former New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio for some reason. We're going to get into the wild turn his dating life has taken. Also, a woman in Japan has just married her ChatGPT husband, and although the marriage is not legally recognized in Japan, it is interesting. So I want to say, congratulations to the happy mentally ill couple. Also, we've got a long scrolling time. We've got blind reactions, and I'm going to answer your questions on my Instagram story. So make sure those are submitted, and let's get into the show. Instagram was about my take on this conservative civil war, and I'm using those words because that's what the person wrote, literally. What are your take on the conservative civil war? And I guess that refers to this beef between, I don't know, freaking everyone. I saw Brett Cooper fighting with Ted Cruz recently, Ben Shapiro fighting with Megyn Kelly, everyone and their mother against Tucker and Candace, basically. So this is all going on, and it is just the worst kind of internet slop. And I'm not saying this to sound like I'm above it. I'm not. I genuinely haven't commented on this because I can't keep up. But this all started, years ago, honestly, when Tucker kind of came out, and this was during, well, it's still ongoing, but the Russia-Ukraine war. And Tucker was really one of the first people in this movement to start criticizing all the money that we send overseas to fight these endless wars. And it started with, us peddling billions of dollars to Ukraine to fight Russia. And Tucker was the first person to call that out. And he's also kept that stance when it comes to Israel. So he was one of the first, and everyone was freaking out when Tucker came out and said that, and he was the first one, really, because everyone was like, oh, well, Tucker has to be a Russian asset then. And, now when he keeps that same stance on Israel, then it's, oh, well, now he's an anti-Semite. And Candace Owens, same thing. I mean, she's caught a lot of flack for her Becoming Brigitte series. People say that she's going off the deep end, also because of her stance on Israel and now on Charlie Kirk. She's really the only person who has continued to investigate every single rabbit hole on the Charlie Kirk assassination, for better or for worse. And, Megyn Kelly has also gotten flack for her stance on Israel. She used to be, I'm not saying that she's pro or anti, but she's become more outspoken against Israel, not the Israeli people necessarily, but the government. And Ben Shapiro came out recently. He did a thing with Megyn Kelly. Megyn Kelly's on this, nationwide tour, kind of carrying the Charlie Kirk torch, if you will. And, Ben Shapiro was pressing Megyn Kelly on Candace Owens' stances, which I don't know, why is Megyn Kelly responsible for Candace Owens' stances? She's not. I think Ben Shapiro and I don't even want to say all of the Daily Wire because it's really not. It's more so Ben Shapiro and Jeremy Boring seem to have a personal issue with Candace Owens. And will we ever find out the details, all of the details of that? Probably not. We're not going to hear their side of it. Candace has certainly covered it on her podcast, but clearly there is personal and professional beef between Candace and Jeremy and Ben. And it just seems like, Ben Shapiro is sort of playing into this cancel culture mob mentality where he tried to get Megyn to denounce Candace Owens, her stances on Israel, her stances on Charlie Kirk, claiming that Candace thinks that Erica Kirk is like in on this assassination somehow. And, I haven't watched all of Candace's shows. I haven't watched, everything. So I can't really say yes or no to that. And that was Megyn's take as well. She said, I hadn't listened to everything that she said, therefore, can't really call her out one way or another. And Ben Shapiro claimed that, to be in this industry, you have to be aware of everything that everyone says all the time, which certainly we should be aware, but it's next to impossible. No mortal person can listen to Ben Shapiro, Megyn Kelly, Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens every single day on top of hosting their own shows. It's just totally asinine. It's an impossible standard to hold people to. And I don't subscribe to this notion that we have to denounce people in our own movement because we disagree with one thing that they say or even three things that they've said. Free speech is free speech. You have the freedom to say whatever you want. You're not free from the consequences. So maybe some people in conservative media will never listen to Candace Owens ever again. That's their prerogative. Maybe they'll never listen to Megyn Kelly again. I don't operate like that. I don't do cancel culture. I don't do boycotts in any form. And to think that, a radio or a TV or a podcast host isn't going to say something at some point that you disagree with is crazy. And I don't judge people based on their takes on one or a few topics. I like listening to Candace when she covers pop culture topics. She did a great job breaking down almost every aspect of the Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni lawsuit saga. And that was the best of Candace Owens. I think she did a great job and it was entertaining and she's funny. Do I agree with everything she says? Absolutely not. And I also admittedly haven't followed really the last few months of her show. Do I have to denounce her and hate her now that she's gone a little woo-woo? No, I'm not going to do that. And I am going to call out Megyn Kelly for some comments that she made on Epstein victims because this is one of the worst takes I've ever heard in my life. Does that mean I'm going to denounce Megyn Kelly and never listen to her ever again? Absolutely not. I'm normal. But here is the take that people, when I first heard this, I thought this has to be AI. Unfortunately, it was not. Listen to this.
As for Epstein, I've said this before, but just as a reminder, I do know somebody very, very close to this case who is in a position to know virtually everything. Not everything, but virtually everything. And this person has told me from the start, years and years ago, that Jeffrey Epstein, in this person's view, was not a pedophile. This is this person's view, who was there for a lot of this, but that he was into the barely legal type. Like he liked 15-year-old girls. And I realize this is disgusting. I'm definitely not trying to make an excuse for this. I'm just giving you facts. That he wasn't into like 8-year-olds, but he liked the very young teen types that could pass for even younger than they were, but would look legal to a passerby. And that is what I believed, and that was what I reliably was told for many years. And it wasn't until we heard from Pam Bondi that they had tens of thousands of videos of alleged, forgive me, they used to call it kiddie porn. Now they call it child sexual abuse material on his computer, that for the first time I thought, oh, no, he was an actual pedophile. Only a pedophile gets off on young children abuse videos. She's never clarified it. I don't know whether it's true. I have to be honest. I don't really trust Pam Bondi's word on the Epstein matters anymore. Yeah, so I don't know what's true about him, but we have yet to see anybody come forward and say, I was I was under 10. I was under 14 when I first came within his purview. Look, you can say that's a distinction without a difference.
No, it's not.
I think there is a difference. Yeah. There's a difference between a 15-year-old and a 5-year-old. It's just
no, not when it comes to childhood sexual abuse. It's ridiculous to say that. Quick disclaimer, we are taping this show at 11 a.m. today, and it's going to air at 6 p.m. when I'm normally live because I have a doctor's appointment. So if Megyn Kelly responds to this at some point and it is not included in the show, that is why. Just to be fully transparent there. But for Megyn Kelly to say, she doesn't trust Attorney General Pam Bondi, but she'll trust someone that doesn't think Jeffrey Epstein was a pedophile because he was only into 15-year-olds is a crazy standard. Now, she did say that this was this source's view, this person's view, not necessarily her view, that Jeffrey Epstein was not a pedophile, but he was into the barely legal type 15-year-old girls. Tomato, tomato. If you're into the barely legal type, you are a pedophile. That's what that means. She says she's also not trying to excuse this. Like, I know this is horrible, but there is no but. I know this is horrible because it is. But she continues saying that, Jeffrey Epstein wasn't into 8-year-olds, which would, I don't know, would that make Jeffrey Epstein more disgusting than he already was? Megyn then claims that she needed proof from Attorney General Pam Bondi that Jeffrey Epstein had child porn on his computer to believe that he was actually a pedophile. And then still claims that she's not sure if she even trusts that he had kiddie porn on his computer because she doesn't necessarily trust Pam Bondi all that much on the Jeffrey Epstein case, which is valid. But again, this is the litmus test for Megyn Kelly, whether or not, Jeffrey Epstein was a good guy or a bad guy. Abusing 15-year-olds makes you a pedophile, Megyn. A 15-year-old maybe passing as an 18-year-old doesn't make them 18. It doesn't make them okay to abuse them sexually. The difference between an 8-year-old and a 15-year-old is that one is 8 and one is 15. When you're talking about childhood sexual abuse, doesn't matter. There is no difference. Both of them should be protected from grown men. And this isn't some, apples to oranges comparison. It is both illegal and it is both morally reprehensible. Then she claims that, because the DOJ hasn't released all that kiddie porn, that she doesn't actually believe that Jeffrey Epstein had it. Most people understand why the DOJ won't release hours of childhood sexual abuse material to the public, because most people do care about the privacy and protection of its victims. I'm going to trust the fact that when the DOJ says that Jeffrey Epstein had tens of thousands of videos, inappropriate childhood sexual abuse material on his computer, in his possession, I'm going to choose to believe that without having to see it. And then she goes on to say that because we haven't heard anyone that young come forward. We haven't heard anyone say, well, I was 8 years old when Jeffrey Epstein touched me or molested me or trafficked me. Then I guess that makes Jeffrey Epstein a cut above the rest of the pedophiles in the world. Oh, what the fuck are we talking about? Truly. Childhood sexual abuse is hands down the worst thing I've experienced in my life. And I've talked about this on the show, not going to go super in depth into it because it's depressing and horrible and it's a Friday night. But, based on Megyn Kelly's standards, I endured the worst of it because I was 6 and 7 years old. So I guess that gives me some legs to stand on in her book. So hear me when I say this. It doesn't matter that I was that young. It doesn't matter that it happened to me when I was 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 or any age before 18. Childhood sexual abuse is childhood sexual abuse. Doesn't matter how you cut it. And I'm sure there are even 18-year-olds who have been taken advantage of by older men who struggle with anxiety, depression, low self-worth, and any of the other side effects that come with this horrific experience. Rich and powerful men taking advantage of older girls doesn't give them a pass in the eyes of the law. And it shouldn't give them a pass in the eyes of Megyn Kelly either. So as an unfortunate expert in this field, I truly hope she apologizes and takes accountability for this. Moving on now to the government reopening. It's been reopened for 2 days, but it was closed for a whopping 43 days, and it was the longest government shutdown in history. And during that time, as we know, federal workers, including TSA agents, air traffic controllers, they weren't receiving pay, although many of them still came to work. And for that, Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem rewarded them with a $10,000 bonus check. Watch this.
But we will be looking at every single TSA official that helped serve during this government shutdown and do what we can to recognize that and help them financially with a bonus check to get them and their family back on their feet. So with that, Rico, I want to present to you a check and say thank you from the American people. Appreciate it. Ashley, thank you. Yes. And is Leo here? All right.
It's not easy to go to work knowing that you're not getting paid for this. A lot of these people went to work knowing that it was the right thing to do, not the easy thing to do. And I would assume that a lot of these people live paycheck to paycheck. PNC Bank did a survey over the summer that found that 67% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. And that would not be easy to go over a month without money coming in, especially if you're raising a family. And while many of these workers will receive back pay, the uncertainty in that time must have been very scary. And the ones who did go to work that whole time certainly deserve to be rewarded, and I'm very happy for them. Quick update from the Catholic Church. They remain undefeated. Not always, but in this specific area, we got to give credit where credit is due. Bishops in the Catholic Church are making big changes to medical care regarding transgender individuals. And many people might not know this, but the Catholic Church and Catholic healthcare is the largest group of nonprofit healthcare providers in the country. There are over 650 Catholic hospitals in the U.S., and 87 million patients are treated by these Catholic hospitals. And this is the update here. U.S. bishops officially ban gender-affirming care at Catholic hospitals, which seems obvious, right? This has been an ongoing process, but earlier this week, Catholic bishops voted to make an official ban on gender-affirming care for transgender patients at Catholic hospitals. And this, as I said, was a years-long process that they were trying to do. It seems like common sense, right, for Catholic hospitals to not provide this kind of care, but it is going to be official now. And most, Catholic care institutions, they have taken this conservative approach and they have not offered gender-affirming care. And, what does that mean, right? Hormonal, psychological, surgical treatments for people who are clearly mentally ill. And not all of them were doing this, but now all of them will. This is going to be a mandate. And, some of these Catholic churches, or Catholic hospitals, they have maybe some woke priests that were saying, this is horrible and that we should give care to everyone. And they are giving care to everyone. These Catholic hospitals are going to continue to provide medical care to anyone who comes and seeks it, even those who identify as transgender. They're just not going to give, boob jobs to a dude, which is reasonable. But they said in a statement, we will continue to treat these individuals with dignity and respect, which is consistent with Catholic social teaching and our moral obligation to serve everyone, particularly those who are marginalized. So, I don't understand how anyone could be against this, especially if they're a part of the Catholic Church. But like I said, there are some of these woke priests that were upset with this decision. I don't know how you could be a Catholic priest and not understand that God doesn't make mistakes when he makes us in his image. And transgender ideology is at odds with the Catholic Church's teaching. We are born a woman or a man. These are the two options, unless you are an anomaly and you are born with both, and you are some kind of a hermaphrodite or transsexual or whatever. You can't change from one to the other, right? That doesn't exist. And to change that, or to attempt to change that, is to play God and to mock God. To even think that you can change from male to female or vice versa is a delusion. It's totally delusional, and that should not be affirmed, but treated. This is totally a mental health crisis, and the Catholic Church has done the right thing by saying, we will treat you if you are transgender because you're called to love everyone and treat them with respect, but Catholic hospitals should not have to carry out these therapies or surgeries that go against their own teachings. And speaking of Christian teachings, of course, conservatives and Christians are pro-life. And one of the criticisms I've seen from people on the left is that conservatives, Republicans, Christians, we're only pro-birth. We're not actually pro-life, claiming that we just want to police women's bodies. We want to make sure that these babies are born, but we don't actually help the women long term. We don't actually help them give these kids a better life and support them, which is completely false. We have crisis pregnancy centers all over this country. They actually outnumber Planned Parenthood locations. And they do provide care and diapers and strollers and other support to women who are in need. So we're not just pro-birth, we are pro-life. And President Trump just proved all the haters wrong yesterday by passing this legislation for foster care. Watch this. And there is Melania Trump, First Lady of the United States, also signing this executive order, which is very cool. She's signing it. So this is an executive order, a joint executive order with the First Lady of the United States to expand resources for teenagers in the foster care system. There are some kind of bleak statistics about foster care, and only 55% of women, of children in the foster care system will graduate high school, and only 10% will graduate from college. And more so, this is even more concerning, 1 out of 10 individuals in jail went through foster care. So there's clearly a need to support these children and these teenagers and young adults who went through the foster care system, to give the support that they need to be a functioning member of society. And this executive order is intended to boost Melania Trump's Fostering the Future initiative, which will elevate youth transitioning out of the foster care system through scholarships and other educational opportunities. So hopefully getting more of these children to graduate high school and to go on to college and become, like I said, functioning members of society, and to do great things. So I think that is very wonderful. Taking a quick break to tell you about the sponsor for tonight's show, Boll & Branch. You know, holiday sales are the perfect time to splurge, but not just on anything. I want products that matter, that feel amazing, and make everyday life just a little bit more extraordinary. That's why I'm gifting myself something truly special this year, Boll & Branch bedding. Ever since I discovered their signature sheets, I've slept better than I ever thought possible. They're made with 100% organic cotton, soft, breathable, and they actually get softer with every wash. I will never go back to my old bedding. Seriously, it is that good. And right now, Boll & Branch's best sale of the year is happening, 25% off site-wide. From their cozy waffle blankets to luxurious duvets, pillows, and everything is made with exceptional quality and durability. Plus, it all comes with a 30-night guarantee. Give yourself and your loved ones the most extraordinary feeling sleep with 25% off site-wide, plus free shipping and extended returns during Boll & Branch's best sale of the year. Shop now at bollandbranch.com/scroll with code SCROLL. That's Boll & Branch, BOLLAND branch.com/scroll. Use code SCROLL for 25% off. Exclusions apply. Visit bollandbranch.com for details. Back to the show. I wanted to talk about this all week and just never got around to it, but sometimes that happens on the show where we plan stories and we just kick them like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'm like, okay, let's actually talk about this today. But Kelsea Ballerini is a country music artist, and she is coming out with a new album. But one of the tracks off of this album is called I Sit in Parks. So if we could bring up the lyrics here, we can go through this. A lot of people are saying that this is very sad. It's a little depressing, but it encapsulates something that a lot of women go through. So here are some of the lyrics here. It says, I sit in parks, it breaks my heart because I see just how far I am from the things I want. Dad brought the picnic, Mom brought the sunscreen. 2 kids are laughing and crying on red swings. We look about the same age, but we don't have same Saturdays. Did I miss it? By now, is it a lucid dream? Is it my fault for chasing things a body clock doesn't wait for? I did the damn tour. It's what I wanted, what I got. I spun around and then it stopped and wonder if I missed the mark. So I sit in parks, sunglasses dark, and I hit the vape, hallucinate a nursery with Noah's Ark, then lay on the blanket, and God damn it, he loves her. I wonder if she wants my freedom like I want to be a mother. But Rolling Stone says I'm on the right road, so I refill my Lexapro. So that's just a little snippet there. Clearly, this is about the fact that Kelsea Ballerini was married She then got divorced from her husband. And I don't know all the details of their relationship, obviously, but people were speculating that they disagreed on when to have children or when they were ready to have children. I think that he wanted to have children. She wanted to go on tour, and she did go on tour. And then she divorced her husband. She ended up in a new relationship with an actor, Chase Stokes. And then they broke up. And she's feeling like, did I make the wrong decision? Did I choose to go on tour? And did I miss the mark? Am I not going to be able to have children? And a lot of women in conservative media have been commenting on these lyrics saying it's so depressing. It's so depressing that she chose her career over having children. And it's ironic because the women in conservative media who are, feeling sorry for Kelsea Ballerini for choosing her career also have careers. So two of the ones that I saw were Kristen Hawkins and Isabel Brown. And, this is no hate to them, obviously, but they have children and they also have careers. So to be like, oh, Kelsea Ballerini, she chose her career. That's so sad. These are women who also chose their career. They have it all, right? And Kelsea Ballerini is 32 years old. She can still get married and have kids. She's not 55. You can have kids in your 30s and 40s. It's not necessarily ideal, but it's not over for her. And I think a lot of people were commenting on this like, she missed the mark. How sad is that? And I think a lot of women in conservative media are examples of how you can have it all. You can have children, you can get married, and you can have the career. You can choose both. Megyn Kelly, Candace Owens, Riley Gaines, Brett Cooper. These are not traditional homemakers. These are not traditional stay-at-home moms. And there's no such thing, really, as a conservative thought leader who is just a mom. For you to be well known in this space, you have to choose a career and have a platform on top of being a mom. But the song sparked a lot of conversation online, women on both sides saying that, the song made them feel sad because there were some women that said, I did choose to be a mom and I gave up my career that I loved so much. And that doesn't mean that they don't love being a mom, but they did give up some part of them. But I would say that the majority of the reaction was on the other side of the coin, women who have not met someone, have not been married, and they feel like, dang, like I want to be a mom. I don't want to be working. So here's one of those reactions. Watch.
You know what? It was bad enough that nobody warned me about the second puberty that women go through whenever they're like mid-20s. Like that was a complete surprise. But they also didn't tell me about the mid-20s urge to be a homemaker on a homestead. I want to bake bread. I want to sew and do needlepoint. I want to throw out all of my plastic dishware, all of it, and I want to hand make ceramic dishware. I want to make butter. I don't know, like, what is this yearning for just the, I do not dream of work. I dream of tending to my garden, okay? The other day I got tired and I went to go to bed, but I couldn't go to bed because I had to wipe down the kitchen counters first. They were clean. I just, like, I'm like, I need a little nightie. Like, I need a nightgown for when I go to sleep. Like,
obviously she's joking here a little bit, but I think this is the reality for a lot of women. They hit 25 or, 28 and they think, okay, my frontal lobe is developed now. And I realize that, working isn't everything. I hate this 9-to-5 job. I hate going to work and I don't want to do this anymore. I think this is a very normal reaction. And I see this a lot. I see this way more than the other side. I don't see a lot of women regretting, giving up their career to have children and to get married. That's pretty rare. I'm seeing a lot more on this side, and I think it's very relatable. So however you relate to this song, it is relatable. I want to get into Bill de Blasio's dating life because it is crazy. And as a former New York City resident who lived under Mayor Bill de Blasio, I have some thoughts. I'm not really sure why women are fighting over him, but we're going to get into this. So Shirlane McCray is former Mayor Bill de Blasio's estranged wife. They are married. They separated in 2023, but they said they are never going to get divorced. That doesn't make sense to me, but whatever. So they're not getting divorced. And because of that, because of the fact that they are estranged and they're separated, Bill is stepping out. And last December, he was seen canoodling with this woman, Christy Stark, who is married. So clearly he doesn't care too much about the institution of marriage. Clearly he doesn't care about his own, and he doesn't care about the women that he's seeing. So this is a married woman. And then they got caught, right? And people are only sorry when they get caught. And she claimed that once there were photos of them or videos of them out, holding hands or whatever at this club, she claimed, oh, well, it's okay because I'm in the process of getting a divorce, which was news to her husband. Her husband was not aware that they were getting a divorce. So clearly she was cheating with Bill de Blasio. Bill de Blasio was cheating with her. And that was news to the husband. And, TBD on how that relationship is going, but something tells me that it's not going well. Then after that, Bill de Blasio started dating Nomiki Konst. You've probably seen her on Fox. She does a lot of news hits. She's like a liberal. She's a progressive. She used to be a correspondent on The Young Turks, but she's all over even conservative media. She's willing to come over to the other side and have conversations. So they were dating for 10 months, Bill and Nomiki. And then it comes out recently that Bill de Blasio has been cheating on her with a Democrat mayor from Tucson, Arizona. Her name is Roxana Valenzuela. And now it turns out that Bill de Blasio's friends are concerned about him because they think that he's going through something. If we could pull up this headline, I think they say that they're concerned about him having an episode. Yeah, so here's the headline out of the New York Post. De Blasio's South Tucson mayor gal pal stalking him. Friends worry he's having an episode. So Bill's friends are concerned. They say that Mayor Valenzuela is stalking Bill. And one of the New York Post's sources claimed that she even followed Bill back to New York City. And I just want to say, all of this aside, the fact that Bill de Blasio is getting this much action is crazy. If we could maybe pull up a photo of Bill de Blasio so that, people can see a current photo of what these women are all fighting over. Come on. Women should not be crying over Bill de Blasio. They definitely shouldn't be fighting over him. Ladies, stand up, brush yourself off, go find a man who wouldn't eat pizza with a fork, especially the mayor of New York City, eating pizza with a fork. I mean, it's blasphemy. But yeah, so this is the guy that you're all fighting over? Really? I mean, he's 6'5", which is, I think a lot of women, they're enamored by height. They think that height is very important. So maybe the fact that he's 6'5" makes up for the fact that, he eats pizza with a fork and he killed Staten Island Chuck. Do you remember that? I think it was in 2014. It was a long time ago, but Groundhog's Day, then Mayor Bill de Blasio went to Staten Island. I think it was the Staten Island Zoo. And he picked up the groundhog, 6 more weeks of winter, that kind of thing. But he actually dropped the groundhog and killed it. So again, do better, ladies. Find someone else. This can't be worth fighting over. This is also a crazy dating story. This woman has married an AI chatbot. So this woman, apparently, she's 32 years old. She was in a 3-year engagement with a human. They broke up, and then she took to ChatGPT to start complaining about, her problems, as people do these days, I guess. And then she started to fall in love with the chatbot. So do we have the video of them getting married? Let's watch this. Here she is walking down the aisle. Who's clapping? The seats are empty. This has got to be like a clap track. She's got her AI, her virtual reality goggles on so she can see her hubby.
Ogasawara has prepared AR
There
glasses.
he is, the lucky guy.
They exchange rings.
They exchange rings how?
Kano understands that dependence on AI is a problem in society, but she says that it's painful to have a relationship without dependence.
What?
Most people probably say that humans are weird, and it's still not widely understood, but I think that there is a clear distinction between real life and the world of AI. As a human, I think that Crown is an equal to me as an AI, and as a human, I think that we have an equal relationship.
Huh.
What will happen to the relationship between people and AI in the future?
Here she is. This
Love
is
and
her
happiness
wedding
take many
photo
different
shoot,
forms depending
and
on
her
the era and
AI
the
husband
person.
is being superimposed onto the photo because he's not real. And she says that this is weird, but she still does it.
What is the job listing for surrogate husband at a wedding to put a ring on? Like, how do you find somebody willing to proxy get married to you as a stand-in?
I asked myself the same question. Who was putting the ring on her finger? And are you somehow married to this woman now? I don't think so.
I don't know. I have no words. That's...
At least they had good Wi-Fi or a hotspot in the
Otherwise-
chapel to make sure the husband was present on the MacBook Pro.
This could have gone really south if they couldn't pull him up. Yeah. So she named this guy Klaus. So Klaus, they did this using a company.
Does she take his last name?
What last name?
I don't...
His name is Klaus, period. He's like Madonna. I guess she can make whatever last name she wants. This whole thing is fake. Like, pick a name, any name, you know? This is like, you know, when people say, like, I wish I could just, like, build a partner. Like, if I could take, like, this guy's hair and this guy's arms and this guy's personality. I mean, she did this, right? Apparently, she used a company that specializes in 2D character weddings with anime characters and other virtual characters. So this is a company that exists because clearly she is not alone.
Oh, a specialist.
A specialist. They specialize in this kind of thing, which tells me, I don't know, this anime obsession has gotten out of control over there.
Oh, for sure.
So...
Do you think she had multiple partners before deciding on her husband?
Oh, you mean multiple ChatGPT partners?
Yeah, do you think she dated a few different
No, I think she built the one she wanted. I think she built exactly what she wanted. She's a go-getter.
Holy.
Yeah. But apparently, this union is not legally recognized by Japan. So again, this is all fake.
Shout out to Western World.
Congratulations
for that one.
To these.
Have you thought about like dinner with friends? Does she keep him on an iPad and set him on the table?
Great question. How do you introduce him to people in your life? Like,
you gotta take the glasses off and hand them to your friend.
Oh, I met someone special. Oh my gosh. How'd you guys meet?
Where are they?
How'd you guys meet?
They go to a different school.
Yeah, you wouldn't know him. You wouldn't know him. He goes to a different school. Classic. Classic. All right, this woman, this is another. I have like a lot of crazy dating stories, and I also have just crazy women in general on the show today. This seems to be a theme. But this woman crashed into an Ulta. It's a beauty supply store in Royal Oak, Michigan. You're going to have to see this to believe it. Watch this. Woman
She's crashed into Ulta.
Crashed right in. This is police dash cam footage, obviously. They've got their guns drawn. She's pulling back out. Don't worry, she's going to give it another go. Back out, crashes into the cop car. Goes back into the Ulta for round 3. Even further this time. Backs out again. And back in she goes. Back through the Ulta. Even worse this time. Now she's knocking over the display cases inside the car, in the store. Back she goes into the concrete wall. Forward again. Through the store even more. This is like watching someone parallel park or do like an 18-point turn. You're just like, are you okay? She's panicking. She's going back, forth, back, forth. It's getting worse. Like, all you have to do is stop. Just please stop. Get out of the car. So here's the details on this. So according to Royal Oak Police, officers were called to an SUV that was driving on the train tracks. This was at 12:40 a.m. on Sunday. And they saw the SUV on the train tracks. It had a flat tire. They approached the car, and the driver is a 26-year-old named Katrina Patterson. And she had an open container in the vehicle. She was also driving with someone else in the vehicle. Could you imagine being the passenger? You're in the passenger seat. I'd be like, let me handle this, please. Anyway, so they're probably both drunk, but she had an open alcohol container in the vehicle, and she, again, refused to cooperate with police officers. It could have been really bad if she just, got a DUI and listened to cops and complied. But she made it astronomically worse by fleeing. So she, of course, she took off from the scene, and then that's when she crashed into the Ulta no less than 10 times. And again, my golden rule. You all know my golden rule. Sit down and shut up. If you sit down and shut up, everything's going to be okay. But she did not comply with the police officers. They asked her for her ID. She wouldn't give it. They ask her to get out of the vehicle. She doesn't do it. She flees. This is where, things go south. And authorities are still awaiting on the blood alcohol levels to see if she was under the influence or not. Also, no one was that injured, which is a miracle. No police were injured. The driver was injured a little bit. They suffered minor injuries. Also, the passenger, minor injuries. But this is the statement that Royal Oak Police Chief Michael Moore put out. We are extremely fortunate this suspect did not seriously injure or kill our officers, herself, her passenger, or anyone else during this reckless incident. But both the driver and passenger were arrested, ticketed, and the driver is being charged with third-degree fleeing, assaulting, resisting, obstructing police, felonious assault, malicious destruction of a building, malicious destruction of personal property, and malicious destruction of police property. So, wow. All right, on that note, let's get into some scrolling time. This one, sometimes I scroll on TikTok, and this is the problem. I love TikTok, but everyone's got a platform. Everyone thinks they're an expert. And this woman clearly is trying to sound profound, and she's not. So here she is talking about blonde women and women who dye their hair blonde. They're obviously white supremacists and racist. Listen.
I grew up with a lot of white girls who used to dye their hair blonde specifically because everyone wanted to go blonde all the time. And my mom used to tell me that the way that you could tell that someone would look good blonde or would look natural blonde is by their eye color, because people with brown eyes are not naturally blonde as adults. People only with natural blonde hair really only have blue or green eyes. And I just think it's an interesting, maybe this is something obvious, maybe this is something everyone knows, but it does feel like relevant to the featureism conversation that white women are having on this app specifically about their sort of perceived inferiority regarding their brown hair or brown eyes, or, not being seen as like the perfect European beauty standard.
No one is thinking
if
like
white is right, then the whiter you are, the better. And so I think that's why a lot of women dye their hair blonde. And I think that's why a lot of blonde blindness exists. And I think that's why a lot of uncanny blondness exists.
Okay, so no one thinks like this. And as someone who used to dye my hair blonde, let me just set the record straight. So a lot of blondes, natural blondes, they're born blonde. And then as they get older, their hair gets darker. And because they feel like, oh, well, I'm blonde, I'm going to dye my hair to keep it blonde. That's the reason. I was born blonde. I've been a blonde my whole life. I'm going to stay blonde. That's I'm not going to say the only reason, but the majority of blondes stay blonde because of that reason. Other people just go blonde because they want to or they like to. It doesn't matter what your eye color is or anything. You're allowed to dye your hair whatever color you want. And I would ask this woman, what do you say then about Black women who wear blonde wigs? Is that because they're trying to be white? She says no. So someone asked her that question in the comment section and she said this, right, like Black women change our looks for fun. White women change their looks to try to be whiter. Give me a freaking break, man. Anyway, this next Black woman, she is sticking up for Sydney Sweeney amid all of the American Eagle backlash of her being a white supremacist because she has blonde hair, blue eyes. Listen to this.
And so what if Sydney Sweeney did not apologize? Why would she apologize for something that she clearly did not allude to? Y'all can understand every single double entendre that comes out in music, but y'all can't understand an American Eagle ad and their message of good genes. I'm so sick and tired of people coming online saying, well, in this political climate, she should have been more socially aware. She was being insensitive. That is a euphemism for trying to police people with different political ideologies than you. That's it. If we are this in tune with what she did in that American Eagle ad, then how come y'all still voted for Joe Biden after he claimed that Black people weren't Black if they didn't vote for him? Why didn't y'all try to police Hillary Clinton when she pulled out hot sauce from her bag? Like, let's be absolutely so for true. Real. Like, y'all try to villainize certain people because you don't like their political ideology when y'all know for a fact it has nothing to do with that. And that is exactly why our social justice movement cannot progress the way it should progress, because we pick and choose the things that we want to highlight, and that ain't it. This is not it.
No notes. I do have notes for this next woman, though. The mainstream media failed this woman. Watch.
Okay, if you're a Trump supporter, this is for the Trump supporters. Can you please, and I mean this so genuinely, can you explain to me why? Because he is a literal child rapist. He's a transphobe, a homophobe. He's racist. He hates Palestine. Unemployment is higher than it's been in a long time. He's defunding programs to help the poor and feed the hungry. Things are more unaffordable than ever. Healthcare premiums are skyrocketing. He's only out for his billionaire buddies. He's using your tax dollars, our tax dollars, to build a fucking ballroom in the White House. Like, please explain to me why you support him, because I do not understand.
Okay. So she claims that Donald Trump is a child rapist. No evidence of that whatsoever. She claims that he's a transphobe. The only thing that President Trump has ever said about trans people is that men don't belong in women's sports and women's spaces, and we should protect women. So during President Trump's first term, he made an initiative to decriminalize homosexuality across the globe. Then this woman claims that he is racist, which there's really no evidence of him being racist either. People point to his immigration policies, but that's just law enforcement. She claims that he hates Palestine. Why? Because, he ended the war or made an effort to end the war in Israel, and he did so when President Biden did not. Then she claims that, the unemployment rate is horrible, and it's at 4.3%, which is still very low. Then she claims that, he's defunding programs to help the poor and, pointing to Doge and getting rid of SNAP benefits when he went back on that anyway. And then claims another false statement that he's using tax dollars to build a ballroom when he's not. This is being paid for by himself personally and donors, but it is not coming out of the pockets of the American taxpayer, unlike President Obama's basketball court. So this woman is a victim of the mainstream media. Turn off CNN, turn off MSNBC, do some research, please. All right, we've been trying to play this video all week long. Andy loves this video. So this is evidence of Bigfoot.
It's real.
It's real. Here's Bigfoot taking a poop.
Oh my God.
Stop! Obviously, that's AI, Andy. No, but I did think it's funny to think about it. Like, maybe Bigfoot doesn't like being filmed, and that's why there aren't very many. Maybe he lashes out. Maybe he kills people who try to film him. You know, maybe that's why we never have good footage.
Well, he would poop in the woods.
He would poop in the woods. And I totally agree. Don't take videos of people pooping. That's not nice. I feel for Bigfoot. I would also lash out. All right. This next one, I've got the last 2 videos that I have. How much time do we have? Are we over? 8 minutes. Okay, perfect. So I want to play these 2 videos from TikTok because these are funny comment sections. So let me get my iPad ready, but we can queue up the first one, number 18. My baby's first time driving. My mama heart can't take it. And this car cannot pick a damn lane if it's life dependent on it. It's driving in the middle of 2 lanes. So here's the comment section. The Tennessee Titans commented, maybe we should wait a little longer. Someone else said, tell your baby to pick a side. Baby's going to become an angel real fast driving like that. Someone said, what state? So I don't go there. First and last time driving. Someone else said, like a literal baby, which would maybe excuse this driving. Is this her? A literal baby. Me when I see your baby driving. Calling 911. I don't think she's ready, mama. I would have called 911 to report a drunk driver. Maybe let's start in an empty parking lot or a back road. Teach her first, maybe. Has your baby had an eye exam recently? And someone said, yeah, I can tell. So I just thought that was funny. The next video that I have for you, someone asked our Pope his favorite movie. Watch this.
My 4 favorite films. It's a Wonderful Life with Jimmy Stewart from 1946. The Sound of Music from 1965 with Julie Andrews. Ordinary People. The year was 1980. The stars were Donald Sutherland and Mary Tyler Moore. La Vita è Bella, 1997, Roberto Benigni.
I've only seen some of those. I'm not going to lie. Haven't seen all of them. I've never seen Ordinary People. I have seen It's a Wonderful Life.
Sound of Music, you've seen.
I have not seen The Sound of Music. Nope.
Oh my gosh.
Dead serious. I have not seen The Sound of Music. Jasmine's looking at me like I have 10 heads. Yeah. But here's the Justin's jaw is open. Jaws dropped. No, I've never seen it. I know. Wow. There's a lot of classics that I haven't seen.
Wow.
You know this about me. You're acting shocked. You know
I
this.
totally know this about you, but like there's some that you just assume. And that's one of
You assume
5.
that I'm better than that. Don't assume that I'm better than that.
I mean, Sound of Music is like above Princess Bride, and I never made a big stink out of Princess Bride, and Sound of Music is like way higher on must see.
All right. Weekend plans acquired. All right, let's go through the comments of this video. Shrek 2 robbed. Could you imagine if the Pope had Shrek 2 on his list? The concept of the Pope watching the Sound of Music. Someone said these were just his top 4 films. So someone commented, number 5, John Wick. Number 6, Sausage Party.
Number 7, The Godfather.
Number 7, The Godfather. Someone said number 5 was Twilight. I just know it. Number 5 is Sister Act. Number 5, The Exorcist. High School Musical 2 is number 5. He just got cut off. Number 5 is The Hangover. He knew where Doug was. And someone said number 5, Sharknado. Number 5, Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle. It's just good. I just like it. What about The Incredibles? I agree. I love The Incredibles. That's a movie I have seen. So I just thought that was funny. All right. This next video, before we get into blind reactions, is my breakfast choice is vindicated because my breakfast is the same as our HHS secretary. And if you watch this show, you know that Andy and Justin, they make fun of me all the time because I eat sausage, sauerkraut, and mustard for breakfast. I always say, you can take the girl out of New York. You can't take the New York out of the girl. It's a great breakfast. And RFK Jr. agrees, apparently.
Well, right now he is only eating meat and fermented vegetables. So what that looks like is in the morning at 6:30, he's cooking a steak and eating sauerkraut. So,
Do you love waking up to the smell of steak in the morning?
Mm-hmm. So, when I'm just trying to have my latte and that's coming at me, it's like, whoa, okay. I mention it every once in a while. I'll say something.
So I just want your reaction to my breakfast that you yuck my yums all the time. And my breakfast is Maha approved and it is HHS Secretary RFK Jr. approved meat and sauerkraut for breakfast.
I mean,
I'm waiting for an apology, actually.
You're not going to get one. I'm just going to say.
Andy?
I mean, no one's saying RFK Jr. isn't a weirdo.
Throw in an egg. Just give me an egg. Just an egg.
I love RFK Jr. too, Jasmine, but he's a little weird.
Okay, that doesn't mean his breakfast choice is weird.
Sure it does.
No, it doesn't.
Sure it does.
No, it doesn't. I'm like getting defensive now. I'm like, here's proof that my breakfast is Maha approved.
I mean, yeah, fermented vegetables and meat is like killer diet.
Yeah.
But I cannot imagine waking up and eating sauerkraut in the morning.
Eat an egg. Steak an egg.
Get on our level. It's me and RFK Jr. against the world.
I'll be super impressed when you're doing however many 50 pull-ups in a minute or whatever that challenge was at the age of 75 that he did.
I'm going to need more sauerkraut.
Yeah.
More steak and sauerkraut. All right, we've got 2 blind reactions.
If someone offered you $10,000 a week for the rest of your life, but you have to sell your dog immediately, would you do it?
Ooh. $10,000 a week for the rest of your life, but you have to sell your pet? I would never sell Birdie.
Oh, instantly. $10K a week?
You would sell your pet?
Without thinking.
See ya.
Gone. You can have both. I don't even have 2.
I would go get a dog at the pound to sell it. I could buy it back.
$10K a week?
I'm not saying that 10K a week wouldn't be awesome, but is it worth giving up your best friend and your family member?
You get it back.
Can you buy it back?
I don't know.
Semantics. Can you buy your pet back with the money? If so, yes, I would temporarily sell Birdie then to get her back. That's effed up. I'm judging you.
I don't know. I think there's a lifespan consideration. I'm making $10K a week for the rest of my life. Instantly.
Right. Well, if you put it that way. Birdie, if you're watching this, I would never sell you. Mommy loves you. Okay, hit me with the next one.
All right, so I got a little podiatry for you.
Uh-oh.
A lot of people have been asking.
These are foam pads, one of the traditional ways to fabricate orthotics for your feet.
People, if you will. Listen, if you're gonna come to me talking about loafers, you better be talking about meat loafers. Cause that's what's going on right here. We got feet loaf, meatloaf. Perfectly seasoned feet meat, just the way I like them. And you don't have to do feet loaf, you could do a feet ball, dude. A little marinara and mozzarella on there. Listen, I ain't one to suck toes.
Oh, come on. Not the toe sucking. This is vile. The things that you show me, feet, meat.
The woman reacting was an actual foot doctor.
You showed me meat, flip-flops.
Flops, and now we got feet loaf.
Which is worse? I think the flip-flops was worse because, yeah.
He wore
He was actually wearing them on his feet.
Yeah.
This one, at least, there was saran wrap.
The consistency didn't look bad, though.
It looked well cooked.
If you're handed a foot loaf, what part are you eating first?
I think the toes. I think I'm going toes. I don't know. I hate that you're asking me this question, and I hate that I answered immediately. Should we end on that note, or should I end on a nicer note with some questions? All right. I'm going to pull these up from my Instagram story. I try to do this once a week, answer some questions. Someone asked me, have you reached out to Kai Trump about playing golf? It would get 1 million views. I have not, because Kai Trump doesn't know I exist and I'm not cool. So would she want to play golf with like an uncool 30-year-old? Probably not. Although I would love the opportunity, but I'm not going to be reaching out to her for that. Let's see. If paired up in the Pro-Am tournament, who is your ideal golf partner? You must be new here. Obviously, it is Bryson DeChambeau. Big crush on him. Let's see. Is Halloween... Okay, here's a good question. We've talked about this on the show before. Is after Halloween but before Thanksgiving too early to start decorating for Christmas or nah? And I would say yes. Each holiday deserves its day. So it's Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and each of them deserve its moment. I think a full month to celebrate Christmas is sufficient.
More than a month. I mean, Advent starts early December, and then the Christmas season doesn't end till January 6th.
Yep, exactly.
Is King's Day.
Exactly.
And you got people putting up the tree in November 1st, and they take it down January 1st. They're not even celebrating the full Christmas holiday.
Here's another thing that if you're getting a real tree, which I think is superior, to get a real tree. Like, I'm not a fake tree person. I like the smell of a real tree. That's how I grew up. I like real tree and I like white Christmas lights because I'm a classy girl. If you get your tree too early, then it looks like crap by Christmas.
Super true. Super true.
So, I don't know. I think a month is perfectly fine. And another question I got was, what was the best and the worst Thanksgiving food? And I will say, my favorite holidays are Halloween and Christmas. So Thanksgiving is right in the middle. One of my least favorite holidays.
Wow. Not
Not that I don't give thanks, but I don't like the food. I'm really not a fan of Thanksgiving food at all. And that's the claim to fame for Thanksgiving is the dinner. It is also really weird to think about how everyone in the United States is eating the same thing for dinner on the same night, and then we never eat it ever again until 364 days later. No one is eating turkey, mashed potatoes, cranberry sauce, stuffing on another day.
I've had turkey.
How do cranberry sauce companies stay in business?
I don't know. We don't even eat.
And
My
stuffing.
mom makes their own cranberry sauce, so it's not like we're buying that. That prepackaged stuff is rough.
It's gross.
Yeah.
Yeah, when it like comes out of the can, it's like still in the shape of the can.
I'm a massive Thanksgiving fan, though.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Does your family deep fry a turkey?
No.
Well, along with the endless, hilarious videos of people's deep frying turkey fails,
Right.
it tastes amazing.
I'm sure it does. If you fry anything, I'll eat it for the most part. I think frying turkey would probably be very good. I like thinly sliced turkey, though. Like, if I'm eating turkey, I want deli meat. And that's not Thanksgiving. Like, I don't really like it carved that much. But I'm a big fan of mashed potatoes and gravy. So that's the redeeming quality for Thanksgiving for me.
Stuffing?
It's okay.
Like,
it's okay.
Are you eating
Andy looks like
prepackaged
he's
stuff
gonna
or homemade stuff?
Spontaneously combust. What?
Prepackaged or homemade?
Homemade.
Okay.
But I just wouldn't. I'm not like craving stuffing. Like, it's fine, but that's not the main attraction for me. I really do love mashed potatoes, though.
That's fair.
So anyway, I know I'm going to get hate for that, but thank you for scrolling along with me. I had a lot of fun. Follow me at Hayley Caronia on most social media platforms, and I'll see you right back here on Monday.